based on what they look like.
Not solely, but I'm like, you're crying.
That's your first question, though.
But you're crying over a dude that looks like roadkill. Like,
goodness.
I'm just saying.
He cuts to the quick, this one. Will you do a Poundcake podcast from Vegas?
If I have time, I mean, I don't know what this.
I mean, you'd have to. I was gonna say you have to make time.
That means my mom.
But an episode live from Vegas would be, I think, interesting.
I don't know about live, but I could definitely probably get one taped and have my mom and my brother there, and have them featured on the podcast.
Well, that's what I mean. They're all taped, but I mean to do it from Las Vegas. I think might be. If you listen to the show on iHeartRadio from Las Vegas or elsewhere, we have a lot of bureau chiefs in Vegas. Catherine is a new listener in Tampa. Paul listens in Ogden, Utah. Anthony is our bureau chief in Clinton, North Carolina. Jeff is in Shelbyville, Kentucky. Ruby is down in San Antonio. And we have a lot of bureau chiefs, by the way, in the greater Atlanta metropolitan area, too. We've got Andy and Adam and Joe, and Christy is down there as well. And, you want to talk about separating the art from the artist. If it is a sandwich artist, you want to be especially specific. A dispute over mayonnaise ends with 2 people shot, one of them killed, at a Subway in Atlanta. A customer so apparently enraged by getting too much mayo on his Subway sandwich pulled out a gun and opened fire. Killed a woman working whose daughter was there in the restaurant with her, severely injuring the other.
Jeez.
The 2 employees, 2 female model employees, is how the manager described them, who only started working at the Subway location a few weeks ago. And the guy who came in, who I think is still at large, I don't know if they got the person or what, but they said that the person's primary complaint, evidently, was that they gave him too much mayonnaise. And see, this will be the fun of living in a country where everyone's strapped all the time with no information as to, you just assume everyone is armed, and if they don't handle things particularly well, they can just whip a firearm out and murder you because you gave them a little bit too much mayonnaise.
I'm sure she would have remade the sandwich.
Right.
Yeah, but, that's why you're strapped all the time, because you're not there to make, quick decisions. You're there to kind of ask. Chinese food delivery man in New York was also shot dead recently by a customer who was angry that he didn't get enough duck sauce.
Too much sauce, not enough sauce. Gosh.
I'll tell you what, with all the supply chain issues, if it's not one problem, it's another. Oh, my goodness. So very sad down there. And our thoughts are with the entire Subway family. Of course, we have a Subway art school alumnus here on the show. Our own Bill Squire, a former Subway sandwich artist.
And we
you go to Subway art school for that, correct? Am I mistaken?
It's the Subway School of Art and Design.
SASAD. Oh, he went to SASAD.
I'm so SASAD.
So SASAD. Yeah. Now, did you letter in that? Did you get a Letterman's jacket or a class ring?
We got a BLNT.
From SASAD?
It's actually a BMT.
Oh, that's right. Or the Triple C?
I was at the Italian campus.
He was over on the island of Venice.
Majored in harvest wheat.
Gondola to work. Yeah. So before the break, Mary, who's back this week from a vacation, and as I told you at the top of the show, these stories from her vacation were bonkers, right? You got a 3-year-old niece who broke her collarbone from a wayward golden retriever.
That shouldn't have been there.
Shouldn't have been there. And you're saying to yourself, Alan, where should a golden retriever not be? They're delightful. Well, in this particular instance, wasn't supposed to be there. And then before we go to break, she goes, oh, and I accidentally drank alcohol. Accidentally drank alcohol.
Don't say it like that.
I'll take you at your word, because why would you sacrifice your sobriety?
Right.
How long have you been sober?
Over 3 years.
Over 3 years.
March of 2019.
It's no small achievement. And here you are on vacation, taking it to the hilt, and throwing it all away.
So this was actually yesterday. This didn't happen on the family vacation. Technically, I was still on vacation, but my boyfriend and I went to brunch yesterday to celebrate our 2-year anniversary. So we had done a couple things the day before, but we're like, oh, let's go to brunch. There's a blues artist that's local that I really enjoy, and he was playing at a place. I was like, let's go watch him. Let's have some brunch. It's going to be awesome. So we get there. Everything's great. Loving the music. We had been ordering non-alcoholic drinks all day. So I got like a Virgin Bloody Mary. My boyfriend got a non-alcoholic beer. So this is not like I sprung this on somebody. I ordered a second drink that was just supposed to be like strawberry puree and soda water. It was like this, some kind of a rum drink they had. I said, I don't want the rum in this, just the strawberry puree, the basil leaf, and soda water. I said, okay, we can do that. No problem. We've been doing NA drinks all day. So he brings it back. We're kind of dancing around. We had finished our food. And I go and I stir up the drink and I take a big drink of it. And there is 100% rum in this. Like, I knew from the second, it did that thing where, you know what alcohol does, where it starts at the back of your throat and then burns all the way
tightens
down.
up, yeah.
Into your chest, into your stomach. My eyes got huge, and my boyfriend's like, what's wrong? And I was like, there's rum in this drink. He's like, are you sure? I was like, I am positive. I haven't had even a sip of alcohol in over 3 years. I know for a fact there's rum in this drink. And I told the waiter, I was like, yo, there's rum in this for sure. And he's like, okay, let me take it back. I'll have him remake it. And my eyes just started to like well up. I got very upset very quickly. And I went to the bathroom to try to compose
you wanted
myself.
more and more.
Well, no, I'm just crying and crying because I'm like, this is a big deal. Like, this is a huge deal. If someone is sober and is ordering non-alcoholic drinks, it's not as simple as, whoops, I messed up. I rang in the wrong thing, you know? So I was really upset. And I think also my brain went into kind of a panic mode that I haven't felt that burn in so long. It was almost like an instant trigger of, this is the thing that ruined your life. Like, my brain went into fight or flight and started to freak out. Like, this is not okay. You need to get out of here. This is an emergency. So I'm crying and I'm crying. I can't compose myself in the bathroom. So I go back out, and I told my boyfriend, I was like, I want to leave. Like, I want to get out of here. So, I walked outside and I stopped and I asked for a manager because I'm like, here's where I felt ridiculous. Because I'm like, someone needs to know what happened. This can't just be the server either ringing it in wrong or the bartender making it wrong. Like, this is a really big deal for someone who is sober to be served alcohol. So I explained everything to the manager. And I'm like sobbing. I'm doing that like, yes, I haven't had a drink in 30 years. And I'm like really trying to compose myself.
So really easy to take you seriously when you.
And I'm trying to explain how big of a deal this is, that like a small slip up like this could cost someone their sobriety, where it could put you on, like you said, a craving where you taste it and you're like, oh, well, screw it. I already had a sip. I might as well, you know? And
time to climb Mount Gay, baby.
Right. And so I'm explaining how upset I am to the manager. And I even told him, I said, listen, I know there's nothing you can do. I'm not asking you to fire anybody. I'm not asking anything like that. Like, they comped our bill. But
fire somebody.
No, and I'm saying I'm not here to get anybody in trouble. But this is something.
They comped the whole bill?
They comped the whole bill. But after my boyfriend paid for it. So my boyfriend paid for it, and then they had to go back. They're like, oh, no, we'll take off the credit card authorization. So he had already closed out, and then they like had to reopen it or whatever. But and I was just explaining, like, I understand.
A new way to get free dinners.
Act like you're sober and that you were served the wrong drink.
I don't think it'll work after I had 6, though.
I don't think that my 7th drink happened to have alcohol in it.
Hey, I just noticed.
This whole bottle of wine.
All this is said about no alcohol and not feel weird, and I think you did a mistake.
Yeah.
So this is free now.
Well, what was funny is that I'm crying at a brewery, and I'm like, this guy sees this all the time. He sees some drunk chick who couldn't handle her booze.
Usually not
crying.
at brunch, but later in the day.
There's crying at brunch.
There's so much crying at brunch. But then I explained to him, I said, oh, listen, I understand that mistakes happen, but this is a very big mistake to happen. The waiter knew that we were sober. We explained that we don't drink alcohol. We've been drinking NA drinks all day. I don't know whose fault this is. But you need to tell them that this is not just a oops, comp it.
Yeah, because the waiter, I assume, is just taking the drinks that the bar gives them and brings them over.
But if he doesn't ring it in as non-alcoholic, then the bar's not going to make it as non-alcoholic. And I explained, I said, I don't know whose mess up this is. I don't know if he rang it in wrong or if they made it wrong.
I see what
But you
mean.
got to have a meeting because this can't happen to people, especially sober people who have made it abundantly clear that this is what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, and I know it was just a mistake. I know, and that's what I was explaining to the manager and to my boyfriend.
There have to be places that do sober brunch.
I haven't found any.
Oh, really?
You would hope.
Oh,
they just
okay.
opened a sober bar in Columbus. That's the closest place that serves like no alcohol that I know of.
Well, that's like a whole mission statement. I just
Yeah.
mean I didn't know if there were places that did like sober brunch.
There's places that have like mocktail lists, or they offer like, hey, here's our cocktails. We can make these ones of them non-alcoholic or whatever. But it was an honest mistake, and I was just beside myself because I'm like, man, I made it through my dad's death. I made it through some of the worst times in my life without having a sip of alcohol, and then I got mad, and I was like, and because someone at this bar messed up, now I had a sip. Like,
right, but it wasn't your slip up.
Exactly.
Right.
And my boyfriend was actually very...
Which is a nice loophole.
No, I didn't get drunk. It was a sip. Like, I got a mouthful of it, and I was like, oh, this isn't right, you know? And,
401.
Oh, God.
Go ahead. Welcome back.
Thanks. But, yeah, my boyfriend was talking me down, and he's like, you didn't go up to the bar and order a shot and hammer it back. He's like, this isn't something that you willfully did. You're sobriety. Because I'm like, I'm not sober. I'm an alcoholic.
It's like, you didn't say, screw it, I'm going to have a drink.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
He was like, this was an accident. Nobody meant for this to happen.
Yep.
You know, it's going to be okay. And I think my brain just couldn't. I've gone so far out of the way to avoid these situations, and I've made it abundantly clear to waiters and things like that, like, hey, 0 alcohol for me. My boyfriend will drink like the 0.5 NA beers. And when that's not respected and not taken seriously, that I felt like so mad, where I was like, I don't think you understand how big of a deal this is. Like, I was saying that to the manager, and he was like, no, I get it. You know, I have people in my family who are sober, yada, yada, yada. And I don't know. The thing is that...
They're the ones we don't hang out with as much. They're less fun.
They're not as fun.
Like, I understand.
Kind of stupid.
A lot of crying and, you know. It's like when I went to Denny's and they accidentally put heroin on my panty melt. I was like, guys, it's been 25 years.
I've been trying to stay
How
clean.
long? Yes. You know how long I've been coming here?
Yeah.
Never had a problem.
That's how they keep you coming back.
It is true.
That black tar patty melt is good.
Looks a little weird, but...
It doesn't even taste good, but it's still you still love it.
Extra fries.
But yeah, so it was one of those moments where I was just... My brain went into a freak out mode and started panicking, like, you can't have this. You can't do this. This is bad. This is what ruined your life. You're going to get fat and live in a basement again. You got to stop, you know? Like, it was just a very overwhelming experience, and... there's nothing you can do, which is what sucks. Like, telling the manager, I didn't expect anything free. I just wanted them to know, like, this can't happen. This is something that is not just a, we made your burger medium instead of well done, we'll take it back. Like, that's a big deal, you know?
Right.
So that.
Mary, why you bugging?
Hey, Connor.
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on, Connor?
Hey, I was just listening about getting served an alcoholic drink. While you're sober. The same thing happened to me at a bar as well. This happens.
Oh, good for you.
It happens a lot, doesn't it, Connor? Yeah, I drink non-alcoholic beer, so I go with a buddy and his wife. We go eat wings, and I order a Heineken 0.0. And the waitress brings the green bottle Heineken. I'm not paying attention, and I took a big swig, and I could tell the difference as soon as it hit my throat. And I look at the bottle, and it was an oh no moment. And
it wasn't a 0.0, it was a 5.8.
No, it was a true Heineken beer.
Yeah.
And I felt bad. You know, my buddy made the waitress upset. And we ended up getting the meal comp too. But
again, this loophole is spreading like wildfire. But all you need is one person at your table to be sober. And then what you do is you take the beer out of your purse and you set it down and you go, what did you do here?
Like pulling out your own hair?
Yeah, that's right. And then you have your friend slump over and it's a whole thing. Look what you did to my friend.
Yeah. It's scary.
Part of the problem is when I quit drinking, the only thing we could get was O'Doul's. And now all these breweries and everybody is coming out with these, IPA non-alcoholic beers, and they look so similar. You don't realize it when you go to grab it.
Right.
Know? So.
Yeah, it's just.
This is why it's a good idea to go to a brewery for lunch.
Well, and as a sober person, though, you're taking your precautions, you're ordering the right things, and you're explaining, hey, this is something that I do, and they're like, yeah, no problem, we'll take care of it. And
I can't even have the beer battered shrimp.
Right.
Because I have a seafood allergy.
Got nothing to do with the beer.
I can't have the beer onion rings. I can't have the beer chicken.
With chicken allergy.
Yep.
Yeah, so it was just an upsetting experience. And it's like, I talked to a couple of my other sober buddies. They're like, you didn't break your sobriety.
Right.
Like, you're okay. It's going to be fine. It was just alarming. you know?
Because it was unexpected.
It was unexpected, and I felt, I mean, if you really want to get on a tirade about it, that society doesn't respect sober people. They don't care. They just are like, oh, well, screw you. You chose not to drink. You shouldn't have come to a bar. Or you
Can
expect...
I play devil's advocate?
That feels
here
a
bit?
little overstating it.
Yeah.
No, and that's what I'm saying. This is how
Yeah.
I was feeling yesterday when
Right.
it was like, I was just so overwhelmed that I was like, I'm disrespected. I'm this, I'm that.
If you're, you worked at a bar for a long time, when you're making drinks, especially like the specialty drinks, you can get into that zone where you may have even saw that it said NA, but you're just making things so quick because you're trying to get the turnover. Trying
I understand
to get things that someone makes a mistake, and I don't think that means they are disrespecting anyone.
I'm
I
not
think it's
saying
just it's an accident.
In this, and I said that earlier. This 100%, I get it. It was an accident. Either it was rang in wrong or it was made wrong. I'm sure it wasn't done in malice. I get that. But when I say the thing is society is when you go to a place as a sober person and ask for non-alcoholic choices, they will look at you like scum of the earth. You can have a Diet Coke. Like Bill, when we celebrated my 1 year sober, remember we went to a nice steakhouse and I asked for a mocktail. I said, "Do you guys have any like mocktails or anything like non-alcoholic?" And the guy looked at us and said, "I have orange juice." Like,
Not even a Shirley Temple?
Like annoyed with me for asking. And I'm like,
They can't make any money off orange juice.
But what I'm essentially telling you is I will pay $9 for a drink with no booze in it.
Right.
I'm asking you to just throw some strawberry puree into soda water and make me feel like
Charge
I'm
me
having
the
some.
same,
And I'll
yeah.
pay the full amount for it. But you get treated like...
Well, they do respect sober people. It's just that, Mary, you weren't sober because you had that drink of rum. All right? So the
can't wait
minute
for
that
that to
went
come
up to
out, yeah.
minute you went up to your lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, it was just very upsetting. And I've had friends like the caller just said, where those things happen on accident, and I understand that. But it makes you feel like, okay, well, then maybe I shouldn't order it. And that feels unfair, that I can't even feel safe enough to order a drink after already explaining it and having multiple non-alcoholic beverages. What more can I do? Mm-hmm. And I still get served it? Like, what the heck? Mm-hmm. You know?
Let me talk to January. What's going on?
Hey, Alan, how you doing?
I'm good.
Hey, so I wanted to comment about the non-alcoholic beverages. So
Yeah.
I did the opposite. I was traveling south, and we stopped in West Virginia at a steakhouse, and on the table tent they had this alcoholic beverage, like a fruity 5-alcohol beverage, and if you buy that, you get to keep the boot glass that it's in. So we both bought, one of those, and the waitress said, "Okay, I'll be back to take your order." So it was a really young girl, and when she came back, I said, "Oh, by the way, this is non-alcoholic, right? Because I've been sober for 6 years." And her eyes got really big, and she lied to me and said, "Yeah, it's not alcoholic," and she walked away.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And
You know
then
what?
when January went home and peed himself, he realized that the evening had been a complete sham.
Right.
And, right.
Yeah, I just thought that was so funny. I couldn't believe she lied.
She straight up didn't want to get in trouble and was like, yeah, you're not drunk.
Yeah, you're fine. I'll drive you home myself. It's all good.
Yeah, you're falling off the wagon. It's not my fault, lady.
Right. All right, thank you. There's January, sir or madam. Mary shouldn't be upset. She should be proud that she didn't want more.
And that was what one of my sober buddies was like. You didn't finish the drink. You put it down. You left. You were upset at the slip up. It wasn't like you threw it to the wind and were like, well, screw it. Let's get hammered. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't a choice. This was an accident. But yeah, it's just hard to reframe your mind in the moment,
Hey, Warren.
Yeah, hey, Bill. Alan, I'm sorry.
We're all here.
I mean, hey, what's up? How you doing, Warren?
Hey, howdy, everybody. Listen, Mary, I love you, but I got to straighten you out here a minute.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
You're a recovering alcoholic, which means you have an addiction to alcohol. Your addiction goes way further than just the alcohol, edibles, weed, all that stuff. They're all trigger mechanisms. So when you go to these places and you drink mocktails, those are triggers. When you drink NA beers and stuff like that, they're triggers. They say in those rooms that you go to that you should change people, places, and things because you change those, things start to become new. Every time you go to these places, something is going to want to trigger you. So it's not, I am really happy that you have this much time not drinking. But you need to stay away from those places because those places will trigger you. Those people will trigger you. And I just want the best for you. These things wouldn't be happening if you wouldn't go to these places and order mocktails or any beers and stuff, because you want to remove yourself from that situation.
So what you're saying,
I think mileage may vary on this. That's probably true for some people.
You're also saying that I shouldn't go anywhere where they serve alcohol. I shouldn't go to any type of bar or restaurant or club because it might be a trigger for me. Also, you're overstepping your boundaries by telling me what my triggers are. And secondly, how would I do my job? I'm a comedian. Would I quit my job because comedy clubs serve alcohol?
I'm not saying you don't go to these places.
You just said don't go. Stay away. It's a trigger.
No, stay away from people, places, and things that you go to that you may have been to before.
And how can I stay away from places that serve alcohol? Explain to me how I can live a life.
Okay. No, you can live your life. You can go to a restaurant that serves alcohol and order a soda, an iced tea.
Yeah, I can.
You don't have to go.
But asking...
because these things are going to trigger you no matter what.
You can't tell me what my triggers are. You got to quit saying that. You don't know what my triggers are.
I know what your triggers are.
You don't know me.
This guy knows you, Mary.
You don't know my triggers. Even if we're both alcoholics and you the way that you speak and the words that you use, I can tell you're also in the rooms. But that doesn't mean that you know my triggers. You have no idea. You don't know anything about me.
I know you're an addict.
It doesn't matter. No, we do not. Because go ahead.
All right. Do you eat edibles?
No, I do not. I haven't been high in over a year and a half.
I mean, I do, but I'm not an addict.
Last time you drank, all right. So you're how long you been sober?
I've been sober from alcohol for over 3 years, and I haven't been high since last January. Last February.
Oh, you were still getting buzzed.
No, I'm not getting anything. See, this is the thing. You're going to sit here and tell me that you know my triggers.
A year and a half ago.
As of a year and a half ago, I haven't had any edibles. I haven't had anything.
Then I'm good, and I'm happy. And no, you didn't.
You drunk? So this is my point. Do you see what I mean? It's people like
you can't
him
assume.
Who say,
it's a case-by-case thing, man.
And he also says you can't go to these places, you can't do these things, you can't be around people, places, and things that you used to. Then I would have to quit my job as a stand-up comic.
Right.
I could never go. And I did order essentially a pop. I wanted soda water with strawberry puree in it. That's what I asked for.
It sounds like he's describing perhaps his own situation.
Mm-hmm. Tell me what my triggers are. Oh God, that makes me so
No,
mad.
I know you, Mary.
Well, now I do know
You
what
get
your
high all
triggers
the time. You don't... I want to swear. That's why I'm like, I've been off air too long.
Don't swear, Mary.
He's dumb. So who cares?
Well, he's having a different experience than Mary is, but that's not.
He's blaming me. He's saying
Warren, I appreciate you listening to the show.
One size fits all.
He's saying you shouldn't have been at a brewery in the first place. Is what he's saying.
Yeah,
if you were a true recovering alcoholic, you never would have gone.
What was she wearing? That kind of stuff.
Exactly.
Like it's dumb. It's not a great way. And if it works for him, that's one thing. But you how many times have you gone to restaurants and not had this?
For 3 years, I've never had a problem.
Yes, and you still don't have a problem. They messed up.
Right.
So I wouldn't put a lot of energy towards Warren and his way of thinking.
Well, he's subjecting you to a purity test that might be work for him. That works for some people. At least now we know what triggers Mary. Okay, listen, I've got to take a break. If you want to send a text, 35192, I'll have another $1,000 for you on the way at 4:30. And after the break, I'll have those Apocalyptica tickets for you if you dig them.